Way back when I was just a little bitty boy living in a box under the stairs in the corner of the basement of the house half a block down the street from Jerry's bait shop. You know the place. Well, anyway, back then life was going swell and everything was just peachy. Except, of course, for the undeniable fact that every single morning my mother would make me a big old bowl of sauerkraut for breakfast. Oh! In a seemingly chaotic world, where the expected is unexpected, one man tries to put it all together. Weird Al Yankovic's Albuquerque. Oh! A big bowl of sauerkraut every single morning. It was driving me crazy. I said to my mom, I said, "Hey, Mom, what's up with all the sauerkraut?" And my dear sweet mother, she just looked at me like a cow looks at an oncoming train. And she leaned right down next to me and she said, "It's good for you!" And then she tied me to the wall and stuck a funnel in my mouth and force-fed me nothing but sauerkraut until I was 26 and a half years old. That's when I swore that someday I would get out of that basement and travel to a magical, faraway land where the sun is always shining and the air smells like warm root beer. And the towels are oh so fluffy, where the Shriners and the lepers play their ukuleles all day long, and anyone off the street would gladly shave your back for a nickel. Waka waka doo doo, yeah. Well, let me tell you, people, it wasn't long at all before my dream came true, because the very next day a local radio station had this contest to see who could correctly guess the number of molecules on Leonard Nimoy's butt. I was off by 3, but I still won the grand prize. That's right, a first-class one-way ticket to Albuquerque. You know, I'd never been on a real airplane before, and I gotta tell you, it was really great. Except that I had to sit between these 2 large Albanian women with excruciatingly severe body odor. And the little kid back of me kept throwing up the whole time. The flight attendants ran out of Dr. Pepper and salted peanuts, and the in-flight movie was Biodome with Pauly Shore. Oh, and 3 of the airplane engines burned up, and we went into a tailspin. We crashed into a hillside, and the plane exploded in a giant fireball, and everybody died. Except for me. You know why? Because I had my tray table up and my seat back in the full upright position. So I crawled from that twisted, burning wreckage. I crawled on my hands and knees for 3 full days, dragging along my big leather suitcase and my garment bag and my tenor saxophone, and my 12-pound bowling ball, and my lucky autographed glow-in-the-dark snorkel. But finally I arrived at the world-famous Albuquerque Holiday Inn, where the towels are, oh, so fluffy. And you can eat your soup right out of the ashtrays if you wanna. It's okay, they're clean. So I checked into my room, and I turned down the AC, and I turned on the Spectravision, and I'm just about to eat that little chocolate mint off my pillow that I love so very, very much, when suddenly there's a knock at the door. Well, now, who could that be? Who is it? No answer. Who is it? No answer. Who is it? They're not saying anything. So finally I go over and I open the door, and just as I suspected, it's some big fat hermaphrodite with a flock of seagulls haircut and only one nostril. Man, I hate it when I'm right. So anyway, he bursts into my room and he grabs my lucky snorkel, and I'm like, "Hey, you can't have that. That snorkel's been just like a snorkel to me." And he's like, "Tough." And I'm like, "Give it." And he's like, "Make me." And I'm like, "Okay." So I grabbed his leg, but he grabbed my esophagus, so I bit off his ear, and he chewed off my eyebrow, and I took out his appendix, and he gave me a colonic irrigation. Yes, I can't believe it. And somewhere in the middle of it all, the phone got knocked off the hook. And about 20 seconds later, I heard a very familiar voice. You want to know what it said? I'll tell you what it said. It said, "If you'd like to make a call, please hang up and try again. If you need help, hang up and then dial your operator." Well, to make a long story short, he got away with my snorkel. But I made a solemn vow right then and there that I would not rest. I would not sleep for an instant until the one-nostriled man was brought to justice. But first I decided to buy some donuts. So I hopped in my car and I drove over to the donut shop and I walked on up to the guy behind the counter and he says, "Yeah, what do you want?" I said, "You got any glazed donuts?" He said, "No, we're out of glazed donuts." I said, "You got any jelly donuts?" He said, "No, we're out of jelly donuts." I said, "You got any Bavarian cream-filled donuts?" He said, "No, we're out of Bavarian cream-filled donuts." I said, "You got any cinnamon rolls?" He said, "No, we're out of cinnamon rolls." I said, "You got any apple fritters?" He said, "No, we're out of apple fritters." I said, "You got any bear claws?" He said, "Wait a minute, I'll go check." "No, we're out of bear claws." I said, "Well, in that case, what do you have?" And he said, "All I got right now is this box of 12 starving, crazed weasels." So I said, "I'll take that." So he hands me the box and I open the lid and the weasels jump out and immediately latch onto my face and start biting me all over. Oh, they were tearing me apart. They're just going nuts. You know, I think it was about that time that a little ditty started going through my head. I believe it went a little something like this. So I run out into the street with these flesh-eating weasels all over my face, waving my arms about and running like a constipated wiener dog. And as luck would have it, that's exactly when I ran into the girl of my dreams. Her name was Zelda. She was a calligraphy enthusiast with a slight overbite and hair the color of strained peaches. I'll never forget the first words she said to me. She said, "Hey, you've got weasels on your face." That's when I knew it was true love. Oh, we were inseparable after that. We ate together. We bathed together. We even shared the same piece of mint-flavored dental floss. The world was our burrito. So we got married and we bought us a house and we had 2 beautiful children, Nathaniel and Superfly. Oh, we were so very, very happy. Oh, yeah. But one fateful night, Zelda said to me, she said, "Sweetie Pumpkin, do you want to join the Columbia Record Club?" I said, "Whoa, hold on now, baby. I'm just not ready for that kind of commitment." So we broke up and I never saw her again. But that's just the way things go in Albuquerque. Well, things started looking up for me, because about a week later I finally achieved my lifelong dream. That's right. Got me a part-time job at the Sizzler. I even made Employee of the Month after I put out the grease fire with my face. Yeah, people were pretty jealous of me after that. I was getting a lot of attitude. Okay, like this one time. I was out in the parking lot trying to remove my excess earwax with a golf pencil, and I see this guy Marty trying to carry this big sofa up the stairs all by himself. So I say to him, I says, "Hey, you want me to help you with that?" And Marty, he just rolls his eyes and says, "No, I want you to cut off my arms and legs with a chainsaw." So I did. And then he gets all indignant on me. He's like, "Hey man, I was being sarcastic." Well, that's just great. How was I supposed to know that? I'm not a mind reader. And besides, now he's got a cool new nickname, Torso Boy. So what's he complaining about? Say, that reminds me of another amusing anecdote. See, this guy comes up to me on the street and tells me he hasn't had a bite in 3 days. Well, I knew what he meant, but just to be funny, I took a big bite out of his jugular vein, and he's yelling and screaming and bleeding all over, and I'm like, "Hey, come on, man, don't you get it?" But he just keeps rolling around on the sidewalk, screaming and bleeding. You know, just completely missing the irony of the whole situation. Some people just can't take a joke. Well, anyway, I know it's kind of a roundabout way of saying it, but I guess the whole point I'm trying to make here is I hate sauerkraut. That's all I'm really trying to say. And if, by the way, you wake up one morning and find yourself in an existential quandary, full of loathing and self-doubt, and racked by the pain and isolation of your pitiful, meaningless existence, at least you can take a small bit of comfort in knowing that somewhere out there in this crazy old mixed-up universe of ours, there's still a little place called Albuquerque.